In this video, we're going to look at the gains from imports. So Australia will, or the domestic country, will import a good where the world price is lower than the domestic price. That means that domestic country does not have a comparative advantage. So comparative advantage, doesn't really exist here, advantage, right? In fact, what they will have is a comparative disadvantage. So in order to actually benefit, consumers will need to import these goods. So we can show this through, again, a demand and supply model. What we're going to do is we're going to draw our demand and supply curves. Now you'll notice already that my lines are not quite as straight as we get on Khan Academy. Apologies for that. But what we can do here is we can already illustrate the domestic price of of cars in this situation. Computers would be another good that we would import. We could also see the domestic quantity. So let's assume that the world price for imports is actually lower than what the domestic price would be at PW. So usually, a price this low would actually see us at a shortage because there would not be enough suppliers willing to supply this price. However, consumers will just import these goods as a result of trade. So the difference between Q1 and Q2 is going to be imports. So Q1, Q2 equals imports. So now we still need to show the gains from trade here. And we can do that again using the concepts of consumer and producer surplus. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to label our areas. So I'm going to go area A, area B, area C, and then moving horizontally into the new areas that have been created, I'm going to say area D and area E. Now, before trade, consumer surplus was area A. So CS equals area A. PS was areas B plus C, illustrated by the point above the supply curve and below the domestic price. Now, because we are importing, consumers will actually gain in this situation. And we can show that by showing the increase in consumer surplus after trade. After trade, consumers are now area A, area B, area D, and area E. Now, domestic producers have lost out. Their producer surplus has decreased to area D. So in this situation, when we're importing, consumers will gain, producers will lose, but our total welfare will actually increase. So our total surplus will increase, as evidenced by the areas D plus E. And that is the gains from imports.